Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It's the birthplace of your reality, the architect of your experiences, and the sculptor of your life. Today, we're going to talk about something that each and every one of you has faced at some point in your life. Those dark thoughts that creep in when you're alone, when the world seems to have turned its back on you, and when you feel like there's no one left to turn to. But I'm here to tell you that you have the power within you to overcome these challenges, to rise above the darkness, and to create the life you truly desire. You see, your thoughts are not just fleeting ideas that pass through your mind. They are the very substance of your existence. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, shapes the world around you. When you find yourself trapped in a cycle of negative thinking, it's not just an unpleasant experience, it's a creator of your reality. But here's the good news. If your thoughts can create a reality you don't want, they can also create the reality you do want. Let's consider for a moment what happens when those dark thoughts take hold. You might feel isolated, believing that no one understands what you're going through. You might feel powerless, as if you're at the mercy of circumstances beyond your control. You might even feel hopeless, unable to see a way forward. But I want you to understand something fundamental. These feelings, these experiences, are not thrust upon you by an uncaring universe. They are the outward manifestation of your inner state. Now you might be thinking, but I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to have these thoughts. And that's precisely the point. Your conscious desire for something better is the first step towards creating it. The very fact that you're here, listening to these words, shows that there's a part of you that knows there's more to life than what you're currently experiencing. So how do we begin to fight these darkest thoughts? The first step is to recognize that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind your thoughts. You are the one who observes them, who can choose to engage with them or let them pass. This distinction is crucial because it gives you the power to step back and examine your thoughts objectively. When a dark thought arises, don't try to push it away or fight it directly. Instead, observe it. Acknowledge its presence without judgment. Say to yourself, I see this thought, but it is not me. I am the one who sees. This simple act of observation creates a space between you and the thought, allowing you to respond rather than react. Next, we must understand the law of assumption. This law states that if you assume something to be true and persist in that assumption, it must become fact in your world. When you're caught in a spiral of negative thinking, you're unconsciously assuming the worst. You're living at the end of a story you don't want. But you have the power to change that story at any moment. Instead of assuming the worst, begin to assume the best. Even if it feels unnatural at first, even if your current circumstances seem to contradict it, hold fast to the assumption of your desired state. If you're feeling lonely, assume the feeling of being surrounded by love and support. If you're feeling powerless, assume the feeling of being in control of your life. If you're feeling hopeless, assume the feeling of boundless possibility. Remember, you're not trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. You're aligning yourself with a deeper truth, the truth that your inner world creates your outer world. As you persist in this new assumption, you'll begin to see evidence of it in your life. This is not coincidence or wishful thinking. It's the law of assumption at work. Now, some of you might be thinking, but how can I assume something that feels so far from my current reality? This is where the power of imagination comes in. Your imagination is not just a frivolous daydreaming, it's the very workshop in which your life is crafted. When you imagine, you're not escaping reality. You're creating it. So I want you to take a moment right now. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. Take a deep breath and relax your body. Now imagine yourself as the person you want to be. See yourself confident, joyful, and at peace. Feel the emotions of living your ideal life. Make it as vivid and real as possible in your mind's eye. Engage all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? This exercise isn't just a momentary escape from your troubles. It's a rehearsal for your new reality. The more you practice this, the more natural it will feel, and the more quickly you'll see changes in your outer world. But what about those times when the dark thoughts seem overwhelming? When it feels like you're drowning in negativity, this is when you must be most vigilant in guarding the gate of your mind. Just as you wouldn't allow a stranger to come into your home and rearrange your furniture, don't allow negative thoughts to enter your mind and rearrange your mental landscape. One powerful technique for combating persistent negative thoughts is the use of affirmation. But these aren't just positive statements you repeat mindlessly. They're declarations of truth, your truth. When you say an affirmation, Feel it with every fiber of your being. Let it resonate through your entire body. For example, instead of saying, I hope things will get better, declare with conviction, I am the master of my fate. I choose peace and joy in every moment. Instead of thinking, I'm so alone, affirm, I am surrounded by love and support, visible and invisible. Rather than believing, I can't handle this, state firmly, I have the strength and wisdom to overcome any challenge. Remember, these affirmations aren't meant to deny your current experiences. They're meant to align you with the truth of who you really are, a powerful creator capable of shaping your reality through your thoughts and beliefs. As you practice these techniques, you begin to notice a shift. The dark thoughts that once seemed so overwhelming will start to lose their power. You'll find yourself naturally gravitating towards more positive states of mind. This isn't because you're ignoring your problems or pretending they don't exist. It's because you're addressing them at their root in your own consciousness. Now, I want to address something that many of you might be feeling. You might think, this all sounds good in theory, but my problems are real. I have real challenges in my life that I can't just think away. And you're absolutely right. Your challenges are real, your pain is real, your struggles are real. But here's the key. While your current circumstances may be the result of past thinking, your future circumstances will be the result of your current thinking. You see, we often make the mistake of looking at our current situation and allowing it to dictate our thoughts and feelings. We think, once things improve, then I'll feel better. Once I have what I want, then I'll be happy. But this is backwards. That's your thoughts and feelings that create your reality, not the other way around. This doesn't mean you should deny or ignore your current circumstances. It means you should give more attention, more energy, more belief to what you want to create than to what you're currently experiencing. It's like tuning a radio. You don't get rid of all the other stations. You simply tune into the one you want to hear. Let me give you a practical example. Let's say you're struggling financially. The bills are piling up and you're not sure how you're going to make ends meet. The natural tendency is to focus on the lack, to constantly worry about money, to feel stressed and anxious every time you think about your finances. But what if instead you chose to focus on abundance? What if, even as you took practical steps to improve your situation, you held in your mind the image of financial security? You might start by imagining how it would feel to have more than enough, to be able to pay your bills easily and have money left over, to feel relaxed and confident about your financial future. You would live from this state, making decisions and taking actions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. This doesn't mean ignoring your bills or being irresponsible. It means approaching your financial situation from a different state of consciousness. And as you persist in this new state, you'll find opportunities opening up that you might have missed before. You'll make decisions from a place of confidence rather than fear. You'll attract people and circumstances that align with your new state of abundance. This principle applies to every area of your life. Whether you're dealing with health issues, relationship problems, career challenges, or any other difficulty, the key is to live from the end. Live as if what you desire is already your reality. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, but isn't this just pretending? Isn't it being delusional? And I want to address this head on. This is not about pretending or deluding yourself. It's about aligning yourself with a deeper truth. The truth that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And think about it this way. Everything you see around you, the chair you're sitting on, the device you're using to listen to this, the building you're in, all of these things existed as thoughts before they became physical reality. Someone had to imagine them, to hold the idea of them in mind before they could be created. Your life is no different. The circumstances you find yourself in now are the result of past thoughts and beliefs, many of which you may have held unconsciously. By consciously choosing new thoughts and beliefs, by deliberately imagining and feeling your desired reality, you're not pretending. You're participating in the creative process of life itself. This brings us to another crucial point in fighting your darkest thoughts: persistence. Change doesn't always happen overnight. Just as it took time for your current circumstances to manifest, it may take time for your new reality to fully materialize. This is where many people give up. They try visualizing or affirming for a few days, don't see immediate results, and conclude that it doesn't work. But remember, you're not just changing your thoughts. You're changing your entire way of being. You're shifting your consciousness. This is not a quick fix or a magic pill. It's a fundamental transformation of your relationship with reality itself. So when those dark thoughts come creeping back in, and they will, Especially in the beginning, it'll be discouraged. Don't see it as a failure. See it as an opportunity to practice your new way of thinking. Each time you choose to pivot from a negative thought to a positive one, you're strengthening your mental muscles. You're reinforcing new neural pathways. You're becoming more skilled at directing your mind. I think of it like learning to play an instrument or mastering a sport. In the beginning, it takes conscious effort. You have to think about every move, every note. But with practice, it becomes second nature. The same is true with your thoughts. With persistent practice, positive thinking becomes your default state. Now, I want to address something that many spiritual teachers and self-help gurus often overlook: the importance of action. While it's true that your thoughts and beliefs shape your reality, this doesn't mean you should sit back and wait for things to magically change. Your thoughts and beliefs should inspire and guide your actions. If you're visualizing better health, let that vision motivate you to make healthier choices in your diet and exercise. If you're affirming financial abundance, let that affirmation guide you to look for new opportunities, to develop your skills, to manage your resources wisely. If you're imagining improved relationships, let that imagination inspire you to communicate more openly, to show more appreciation, to be more present with your loved ones. Your actions don't create your reality. Your consciousness does. But your actions are an expression of your consciousness. They're how you bring your inner world into the outer. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions are all aligned with your desired reality, that's when you'll see the most powerful and rapid changes in your life. This alignment is what I call living in the end. It's not just about visualizing or affirming your desired state. It's about embodying it in every aspect of your being. It's about thinking, feeling, and acting as if your desire is already. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're seeking a promotion at work. Living in the end doesn't mean just visualizing yourself in the new position. It means embodying the confidence, the competence, the leadership qualities of someone in that position. It means making decisions, interacting with colleagues, approaching your work with the mindset of someone who already has that. When you live in the end in this way, two things happen. First, you naturally take actions that align with your goal. You might seek out additional responsibilities, demonstrate more initiative, or develop skills relevant to the higher position. Second, and perhaps more importantly, you shift the way others perceive you. Your colleagues and superiors begin to see you as someone ready for greater responsibility. This principle of living in the end applies to every area of your life. If you're single and desiring a loving relationship, live as if you're already in that relationship. Cultivate self-love, develop your interests, create a life that you'd want to invite a partner into. If you're struggling with health issues, live as if you're already healthy. Make choices from a place of vitality and well-being rather than from a place of illness or limitation. Now, I want to address a question that often comes up when discussing these principles. Some of you might be wondering, if my thoughts create my reality, does that mean I'm to blame for all the bad things in my life? And I want to be very clear about this. This is not about blame. It's about empowerment. Understanding that your thoughts and beliefs shape your reality isn't meant to make you feel guilty about your current circumstances. It's meant to show you that you have the power to change them. It's about taking responsibility for your life, not in a punitive sense, but in the sense of recognizing your own creative power. Many of the beliefs and thought patterns that have shaped your current reality were formed in childhood or absorbed unconsciously from your environment. You didn't choose them consciously. But now that you're aware of how this process works, you can make conscious choices about what you want to believe and what kind of reality you want to create. This brings us to another crucial point in fighting your darkest thoughts: self-compassion. As you embark on this journey of transforming your thinking, be kind to yourself. Don't berate yourself for negative thoughts or for not seeing immediate changes. Remember, you're undoing years, perhaps decades, of habitual thinking. It takes time and practice. Treat yourself with the same kindness and patience you would offer to a dear friend or a small child learning a new skill. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Did you catch yourself in a negative thought and choose a more positive one? That's a victory. Did you maintain your new state of mind for longer than usual before old patterns crept in? That's progress. This self-compassion is not just a nice add-on to the process, it's an essential part of it. When you're kind to yourself, when you approach this work with patience and understanding, you're aligning yourself with the loving, abundant nature of the universe. You're creating a mental and emotional environment in which positive change can flourish. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful tools you have in fighting your darkest thoughts, your attention. Your attention is like a spotlight. Whatever it focuses on becomes illuminated and expanded your experience. This is why it's so crucial to be mindful of where you're placing your attention. When dark thoughts arise, it's natural to want to focus on them, to try to figure them out or fix them. But remember, what you focus on expands. The more attention you give to those dark thoughts, the more power they seem to have. Instead, practice shifting your attention to what you want to experience. This doesn't mean ignoring your problems or pretending everything is perfect when it's not. It means choosing consciously where to direct the powerful beam of your attention. If you find yourself focusing on what's wrong in your life, gently but firmly redirect your attention to what's right. If you catch yourself dwelling on what you lack, shift your focus to what you have. This redirection of attention is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. In the beginning, you might find yourself having to redirect your attention many times a day or even many times an hour. That's okay. Each time you do it, you're strengthening your mental muscles. You're becoming more skilled at directing your own mind. One powerful way to redirect your attention is through gratitude. Gratitude is not just a nice sentiment. It's a potent state of consciousness that aligns you with the abundance of the universe. When you're genuinely grateful, you can't simultaneously feel lack or limitation. You can't be in a state of fear or anxiety. And whenever you find yourself caught in dark thoughts, pause and ask yourself, what can I be grateful for right now? It doesn't have to be something big or dramatic. It could be as simple as the air you're breathing, the beating of your heart, the fact that you're alive and able to make choices about your life. As you practice gratitude, you'll find that there's always something to be grateful for, even in the midst of challenges. And as you focus on these things, as you genuinely feel and express gratitude for them, you'll notice a shift in your emotional state. You'll feel lighter, more open, more receptive to good. This practice of gratitude does something else too. It trains your mind to look for the positive aspects of your life. Remember, what you focus on expands. As you consistently practice gratitude, you're training your mind to notice more and more things to be grateful for. You're creating a positive feedback loop that amplifies the good in your life. Now, let's talk about another powerful tool in fighting your darkest thoughts. The power of your words. The words you speak are not just sounds, they're creative forces. They shape your perception of reality and influence the perceptions of those around you. Every time you speak, you're making a declaration about the nature of your reality. Pay attention to the words you use, both in your internal dialogue and in your conversations with others. Are you habitually using words that affirm lack, limitation, or negativity? Phrases like I can't, it's impossible, I'm not good enough are not just expressions of your current state. They're proclamations that shape your future experiences. Start consciously choosing words that align with your desired reality. Instead of I can't, say I'm finding ways to make this happen. Instead of it's impossible, say I'm exploring all possibilities. Instead of I'm not good enough, say I'm constantly growing and improving. This isn't about denying your current challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about using your words to create a bridge between your current reality and the reality you desire. It's about speaking your new reality into existence. Remember, in the beginning, these new ways of speaking might feel awkward or inauthentic. That's okay. It's like learning a new language. At first, the words feel foreign on your tongue, but with practice, they become your new native language. As you change your habitual language, you'll notice a change in your habitual thoughts. And as your thoughts change, your emotions follow. This is how you begin to shift your entire state of being. Now, I want to address something that many of you might be experiencing as you work on changing your thoughts and belief. You might find that as you start to shift your consciousness, as you begin to align with a more positive reality, you encounter resistance. This resistance might come from within yourself, or it might come from the people around you. Internal resistance often shows up as doubt, fear, or a sense of unworthiness. You might hear an inner voice saying, "Who do you think you are to want more? You should be grateful for what you have." Or "This is too good to be true. Things like this don't happen to people like me." Recognize these thoughts for what they are, lineaments of old beliefs that no longer serve you. They're not the truth about who you are or what you're capable of. They're simply habitual thought patterns that are being challenged by your new way of thinking. When you encounter this internal resistance, don't fight it. Fighting it gives it more power. Instead, acknowledge it, Thank it for trying to protect you, because that's often the underlying intention of these limiting beliefs. And then gently but firmly choose your new belief. You might say something like, I understand you're trying to keep me safe, but I choose to believe in my own power and worthiness. I choose to align myself with the abundance of the universe. External resistance might come from friends, family, or colleagues who are used to you being a certain way. As you start to change, as you begin to embody your desired reality, it can be uncomfortable for them. They might, consciously or unconsciously, try to pull you back to your old way of being. Remember, their reaction is not about you. It's about their own fears and limitations. Respond with compassion, but stay firm in your new belief. You don't need to convince them or argue with them. Simply continue to live from your new state of consciousness. In fact, as you persist in your new way of being, you'll likely find that the people around you begin to change as well. Some might be inspired by your example and start their own journey of transformation. Others might naturally fall away, making room for new relationships that are more aligned with your new reality. This brings us to another important point. The company you keep, the people you spend time with, have a profound influence on your thoughts, beliefs, and ultimately, your reality. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, who believe in your potential, who inspire you to be your best. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting people out of your life, but it does mean being mindful of the energy you're exposing yourself to. If you find that certain relationships consistently pull you into negative thinking, it might be time to set some boundaries or limit your exposure. At the same time, seek out relationships and communities that align with your desired reality. If you're working on improving your health, connect with people who are passionate about wellness. If you're focused on financial abundance, spend time with successful, abundance-minded individuals. If you're cultivating inner peace, seek out those who radiate calmness and serenity. Remember, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing your entire vibration, your energy field. As you do this, you'll naturally attract people and circumstances that match your new frequency. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful practices you can engage in to fight your darkest thoughts. Meditation. Meditation is not about emptying your mind or achieving some blissed out state. It's about becoming the master of your own mind. Through meditation, you learn to observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them. You develop the ability to choose which thoughts you want to engage with and which ones you want to let pass. This skill is invaluable when it comes to dealing with dark or negative thoughts. Start with just a few minutes each day. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. As thoughts arise, and they will simply observe them without judgment. Don't try to push them away or hold on to them. Just let them pass like clouds in the sky. As you practice this, you'll begin to realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind your thoughts. This realization is profoundly liberating. It means that no matter what thoughts arise, no matter how dark or disturbing they might be, they don't define you. You have the power to choose which thoughts to believe, which ones to act on. Over time, as you continue this practice, you'll find that the gaps between your thoughts grow longer. You'll experience moments of pure awareness, free from mental chatter. These moments are incredibly rejuvenating. They're like pressing a reset button for your mind. But the benefits of meditation extend far beyond the time you spend sitting in silence. You'll find that this calm, centered state begins to permeate your everyday life. You'll be less reactive to external circumstances. You'll be more able to maintain your positive state of mind even in challenging situations. This brings us to another crucial aspect of fighting your darkest thoughts: understanding the nature of your emotions. Many of us have been taught to fear or suppress negative emotions. We think that if we're on a spiritual path, if we're working on ourselves, we shouldn't feel angry or sad or afraid. But this is a misunderstanding. Your emotions are not your enemy. They're not something to be conquered or eliminated. They're messengers, providing valuable information about your current state of alignment with your true self. When you feel joy, excitement, love, these emotions are telling you that you're in alignment with your true nature, with the abundance of the universe. When you feel fear, anger, sadness, these emotions are letting you know that you've temporarily lost that all. The key is not to judge these emotions or try to push them away, but to welcome them as helpful indicators. When a negative emotion arises, instead of getting caught up in it or trying to suppress it, pause and ask yourself, what is this emotion telling me? What thought or belief is at the root of this feeling? Often, you'll find that the root is a limiting belief or a misalignment with your true desires. Once you identify this, you can choose a new thought, a new belief that aligns more closely with who you really are and what you really want. This practice of emotional awareness and conscious choice is incredibly empowering. It puts you in the driver's seat of your emotional life. Instead of being at the mercy of your emotions, you become their master. As you develop this skill, you'll find that even in the midst of challenging circumstances, you can choose your emotional state. This doesn't mean pretending to be happy when you're not. It means recognizing that your emotions are a response to your thoughts and you always have the power to choose your thoughts. Now, I want to address something that many of you might be wondering. What about when things go wrong? What about when life throws you a curveball that you didn't expect and didn't want? This is where the rubber meets the road in your spiritual practice. It's easy to maintain a positive mindset when everything is going well. The real test comes when you face unexpected challenges or setbacks. But here's the challenges are not obstacles to your growth and happiness. They are opportunities for growth and transformation. They are invitations to dig deeper, to strengthen your faith, to prove to yourself the power of your conscience. When you encounter a challenge, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this situation trying to teach me? How can I use this as an opportunity to grow? Remember, your circumstances don't define you. Your reaction to your circumstances defines you. No matter what's happening in your outer world, you always have the power to choose your inner state. In fact, it's often in our darkest moments that we have the opportunity for the greatest breakthroughs. It's when we push to our limits that we discover strengths we didn't know we had. It's when our old ways of thinking and being are challenged that we have the opportunity to create something new and better. So embrace your challenges. Welcome them as opportunities for growth. Know that on the other side of every challenge is a stronger, wiser, more awakened version of yourself. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this final thought. You are more powerful than you can possibly imagine. The very fact that you're here, listening to these words, shows that there's a part of you that knows this truth. You have within you the power to create the life you desire. You have the ability to overcome any challenge, to transcend any limitation, to become the person you've always known you could be. But this power isn't something you need to acquire or develop. It's already within you. It's your birthright as a conscious, creative being. Your task is simply to remember this truth, to align yourself with it, to live from it every day. So go forth from here with confidence. Know that you have everything you need within you. Trust in the power of your consciousness. Believe in the magic of your dreams. And most importantly, take action from this place of knowing. Every day, make choices that align with your highest vision for yourself. Speak words that affirm your power and potential. Think thoughts that resonate with the reality you want to create. Feel the emotions of already having what you desire. And remember, this isn't a destination you're trying to reach. It's a journey of constant growth and expansion. There will be challenges along the way. There will be times when you falter or doubt, but these are not failures. They're opportunities to reaffirm your commitment, to dig deeper, to prove to yourself once again the power of your consciousness. You are the author of your life story. With every thought, every word, every action, you're writing the next chapter. Make it a story of triumph, of love, of joy, of fulfillment. Make it a story that inspires not just you, but everyone whose life you have the power, you have the wisdom, you have the love within you. Now go and create the life you've always known was possible. The world is waiting for your light to shine.